According to the memorandum, Ukraine agreed to relinquish its nuclear arsenal, third largest in the world, in exchange for security assurances from the US, the UK, and Russia. Before the memorandum was signed, a famous political scientist and international relations expert, John Mearsheimer, published an article in which he argued that Ukraine should be encouraged to keep nuclear weapons. According to him, this was the most effective way to prevent a Russian-Ukrainian war. He characterized the potential war itself as a catastrophe capable of leading to the repeated conquest of Ukraine and, quote, undermining the prospects for peace in all of Europe. Unfortunately, Ukraine was politely forced to sign the Budapest Memorandum and relinquish its nuclear arsenal. As a part of the memorandum, Ukraine has destroyed its fleet of long-range strategic bombers and relinquished over 1,000 cruise missiles. In exchange, the US, UK, and Russia have provided security assurances to Ukraine. Obviously, Russia has gruesomely violated this, as well as dozens of other agreements. In fact, the very same rockets that Ukraine has relinquished to Russia are now being used against Ukraine today. While the US and the UK are not Russian and have not violated their agreements after disarming Ukraine, they have an obligation to help Ukraine. Steve Pfeiffer, a US diplomat who participated in the talks leading to the Budapest Memorandum, said, quote, there is an obligation on the United States that flows from the Budapest Memorandum to provide assistance to Ukraine, and that would include a lethal military assistance. I hope the US will behave honorably and will keep its promise by continuing to provide assistance to defend Ukraine's sovereignty. Well, that's being posted by Republican Don Bacon of Roman Shermeta, giving that nice historical perspective right there. Well, Don Bacon, the Speaker of the House in your own party, took to the mic at the end of last week and said, no, we're not going to be given a security assurances to Ukraine. This is your party, Don Bacon. This is who you are. Play this clip of MAGA Mike Johnson. Let's play it.
Additional aid to Ukraine, $24 billion. Are you planning to do that? What is your position?
I'm not planning to do that. There are developments by the hour in Ukraine. I think, as we predicted, and as I said to all of you, weeks before the election, if Donald Trump is elected, it will change the dynamic of the Russia war on Ukraine. And we're seeing that happen. So it is not the place of Joe Biden to make that decision now. We have a newly elected president, and we're going to wait and take the new commander-in-chief's direction on all of that. So I don't expect any Ukraine funding to come up.
So, folks, the time, why I'm giving the historical perspective, why I'm calling Don Bacon out as well as someone who claims to want to be bipartisan and Democrats to work by. These are areas where there could be matters of agreement. We need to understand the historical context. We also need to understand, obviously, what it is Putin is doing with his nuclear blackmail of Trump, because Trump's already destroyed his negotiating position by saying that he was going to get a deal done on day one, right? How do you commit to an unrealistic time frame in a negotiation like that? It's negotiation 101, the worst thing you can do. So how is Putin taking advantage of it? Nuclear blackmail leading to day one, and then put maximum pressure on Donald Trump, essentially threaten another Cuban Missile Crisis type scenario by cutting this deal with Lukashenko. And then when he meets with Donald Trump, sticking the screws through Donald Trump and saying, now what? Now what you gonna do? That's what's happening. I want you to be aware of it.